In this unit, we are supposed to cover following topics. The probability of becoming an exporter increases with the size of the company, but the extent of exporting does not correlate with the size of the company because some of the companies are born global. And the motivations for exporting can be to increase the sales, to expand beyond the geographic origins, to increase the market share and the profits, and to observe the excessive capacity, and to take the benefit of achieved economies of scale. Now, the question comes to the mind, what should be the parameters of successful exporting? And what should be the mode of exporting? Exporting can be direct exporting or indirect exporting. Sometimes the exporter can go for the direct exporting to the customers or the industrial users in another countries. But sometimes the exporter takes the help of the intermediaries or the export management companies. So it depends upon the potential and the capacity of the exporter, whether the exporter wants to export himself or want to take the counseling or the export management company's help. Another major consideration in the exporting business is to analyze and oversee the point of view of the government, which means that if the government is supporting in the form of subsidies or other financial assistances, then the companies can go for international markets. For example, China is extending the help to the state owned as well as privately owned enterprises. And that is the reason that the emerging market national enterprises are doing quite well in the other markets. The companies which are new to exporting business make some mistakes in the starting. Hence, to avoid these mistakes and to operate successfully in the international market, the company should develop a comprehensive export strategy. And to develop this strategy, the exporter should analyze the available resources, such as financial, human resource, and natural resources. And after that, the companies should make a comprehensive analysis of export potential. In the journey of internationalization, only exporting cannot settle down all the things. It means that importing has also an important role to play. The companies are going for the importing activities as well as the exporting activities, and what are the motivations behind? First thing is that unavailability of the inputs at home. Another thing is the specialization achieved by the firms of the another countries. And one another reason is the rivalry. And when it is about the intense competitive environment in the global business, it means that you can acquire the inputs at comparatively cheaper cost. And if you can procure the goods at comparatively cheaper prices from the other countries, it is not wise decision to procure it from the home market at a higher price. Hence, automatically you can diversify your operational risk. Next to discussion over exporting and importing and the motivations behind, it's time to discuss other consideration such as role of custom agencies and export assistance agencies. Custom agencies helps the exporters and importers in the proper assessment of the duties, and if it is claimable, these agencies helps in the deferring of the duties and the duty drawback claims. It is indisputable to say that the role of export assistance agencies is equally important as of the custom agencies because they can be both private and government players. When it is about the private agencies, then we can cite the name of the freight forwarders who helps in the documentation process for the exporters. On the another side, when it is about the government institutions, we can name here of the Export Import Bank of India, which meets the needs of the exporters, especially the working capital requirements and pre-shipment and post-shipment finance. Hence, these agencies are working in a better coordination with the exporters to facilitate the international trade. Exporting as an internationalization strategy is not feasible all the time because reducing in the abroad locations may be cheaper than at home. Transportation costs are too high for the exporting products. Besides that, some governments may inhibit the imports from certain countries. Another issue is the customization. Exporting as an internationalization strategy is not possible all the time. Hence, the companies need to look other alternatives for internationalization. FDI is the suitable choice for the companies who want to have control but want to have less risk over in the markets. Regarding FDI, the companies need to take into consideration various theories. The theories are internalization theory, appropriability theory, and springboard theory. These theories guides the managers to take the decisions which mode will be appropriate for a target market, like franchising, licensing, strategic alliances, management contracts, or the type of the investment will be brownfield investment or greenfield investment. Hence, this decision cannot be taken into isolation. These decisions need certain strategic orientation. And one thing is worth mentioning here that control accompanies investment. The general motivations behind the FDI decisions adding no further capacity to the market, and the companies wants to avoid the startup problems or want to have the easier financing. Besides that, other collaborative arrangements has certain benefits, like when the companies wants to spread and reduce the cost to get the specialization in the competencies from other firms and to avoid and counter the competition, because if the firms will be acquired or there will be merger between the firms, so they will not be the competitors, rather they will be the partners. Besides the general motives for the collaborative arrangements, there are certain international motives behind, ranging from gaining the location specific assets in the target markets to overcome the legal constraints in the target markets and to diversify geographically. Besides that, minimizing the exposure in the risky environments may be the another motivation behind the collaborative arrangements. In this course, we will learn when to implement which set of the strategies, ranging from exporting and importing strategies to foreign direct based investment decisions, and how we can successfully incorporate these strategies.